Hi, everyone, and welcome to First Gen College Panel, Girls for Business's April virtual event. We are so excited that you all are here today, and we can't wait to get started. So today we are welcoming Ms. Nicole Lopez, Ms. Gabriela Cuba, and Ms. June Hong, serving as our esteemed panelists, and we are looking forward to getting started. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Angelica, the co-director of Outreach and also the host of today's event.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm Angelica Food and I'm a co-director of outreach at Girls for Business. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we're so excited to see everyone. And yeah, I hope you've all been having an amazing weekend. So first, so we know who's here and to sort of warm up for today's event, if everyone could type your name, grade, and your favorite business subject in the chat, and also where you're from, that would be really great. So I'm a junior in high school from Maryland, and I'm really interested in marketing and also sort of like the media industry and communications, but on more of the business side, marketing and management. So I will wait a little bit for your chat responses. And I kind of wanted to shout out some of you guys in different time zones, or if you're like a freshman or sophomore in high school or even a middle schooler, for taking an interest in business early on, and pursuing business at a higher education level, and in the future as your career pathway. It's super admirable. And yeah, I know we have a lot from Maryland, but also just all over the nation. It's really great to see all of you from different places. So yeah. And I guess as those kind of roll in, I can get started with going over the event structure a little bit. So today at the First Gen College Panel event, we hope to educate, inspire, and empower all middle and high school girls in pursuing a business career and exploring the business field in college. And we've invited 3 business-oriented students from renowned universities who will share their advice in college applications and the college transition process as first-generation students. So our wonderful panelists will discuss their diverse experiences transitioning to post-secondary education, covering the resources they use, support they received, and their unique pathways thus far in their college journeys. So here on the screen, we have a full rundown of today's event structure. So first, I'll be briefly introducing our organization, Girls for Business, and sharing our initiatives with you all. And then our wonderful panelists will be sharing their general business experiences and journeys in some individual introduction presentations. Then we'll dive into our college panelist discussion, moderated by some guiding questions under 3 themes of applying to college, choosing college right for you, and transitioning to college and finding your place. Afterwards, we'll split into some breakout rooms where you can further explore the college experience in a workshop with one panelist and also learn about their unique business experiences. And then finally, we'll regroup at the end in the main room for some last words of advice from all the panelists before wrapping up. So without further ado, I'll get into a little bit about Girls for Business. So if you don't know, we are a student-led nonprofit organization that is dedicated to empowering middle and high school girls interested in exploring business career pathways. We were established in June 2020 and we're run by a team of over 120 members. And we've impacted thousands of girls worldwide through our platforms. So Girls for Business runs 3 educational programs: our business mentorship program, our business resource program, and our business networking program. Our mentorship program has provided free business mentorship to over 170 student mentees with our 5th cycle ongoing. And our resource program has released over 40 biweekly business newsletters with educational resources and business news. And our community platforms have also connected over 4,000 girls from 60 countries all across the globe. So that's a little bit about us. And now I'm so excited to introduce our panelists for today. So today you'll be hearing from Ms. Nicole Lopez, a sophomore at the University of Michigan Ross School of Business, Ms. Gabriela Cuba, a sophomore at Harvard University, and also Ms. June Hong, a senior at University of Michigan Ross School of Business as well. So our panelists will be introducing themselves and sharing their general business experiences a little more in the next few slides, so you can all kind of get to personally know them. So now without further ado, I'll pass it over to Nicole. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. My name is Nicole, and I'm a sophomore at the University of Michigan, concentrating in strategy, but I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I am both a first-gen student and a Latina student, so very excited just to share my experiences with everyone. Some experiences I've been able to have is a first-year summer analyst for McKinsey and Company, and then I'll be returning there this summer. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's management consulting. So it's been super cool to work on amazing projects with the team. I am also a ambassador for the Ross School of Business and a student employee at the Michigan Alumni Association, which has been just been really cool getting to learn about administration and operations side of management. Some things I'm involved in on campus are being president of the Association of Latino Professionals for America, which has been super rewarding. And off campus, I'm also a nonprofit board member for Pilar Tamales, which is a local nonprofit and tamale shop run by a Hispanic woman I adore in the local community. And she's just been the best mentor outside of school. I love participating in circuit training. I actually went to it this morning. It's hard to do it 3 to 4 times a week, but that's been my goal is so far this semester. And I also love taking dance classes and doing karaoke with my friends. And now I'll pass it on to Gabriela.
Hi guys, nice to meet you all. I'm super excited to talk to you guys. So I'm a sophomore at Harvard University. Currently my primary concentration is economics with a secondary in history of art and architecture. So I am a first gen low income Latina student here at Harvard. So I'm happy to talk about any of those different brackets with any of you guys. So my current experience is that I'm an operations manager, currently remotely for Miami Health Center back in Miami because I'm also from Miami, Florida, like Nicole. I'm also a consultant for the Harvard College Consulting Group. And then in terms of like my social impact, I've been an assistant director for the Harvard Latina Empowerment and Development Conference, which is basically this conference that we hold annually. We had it back in February this year. Would love for you guys to maybe join for next year. Some stuff that isn't listed here is I'm also an assistant director for Harvard Model UN, and also an assistant director for Harvard National Model UN. So if any of you guys want to talk about Model UN and like continuing that career path into college, I'm also happy to talk about that. And then in terms of hobbies, I'm a self-proclaimed foodie. I love food, so visiting restaurants in the Boston area or in the Miami area, definitely if you need any recs, come to me. And I enjoy baking as well. So now I'll pass on the mic. Super excited to talk to you guys.
Hi, everyone. So good to see you all. My name is June, and I'm a senior at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business, same program that Nicole's in. My concentration is finance, and post-grad, I will be going into investment banking at Guggenheim Partners in New York, which is really exciting. I'm also first gen and low income, and I've been lucky enough to have a lot of different experiences. I worked in private equity, middle market private equity last summer. My freshman year summer, I interned for an NGO under the United Nations, and I worked for a startup my sophomore year, which is the Business Development Associate at Olibra. I'm involved in a few activities on campus, and in my free time, I like to work out, I like to crochet, and I picked up guitar. So that's what I'm doing, but super excited to share more information.
All right, thank you so much to all of our panelists for those quick introductions. We're super excited to hear from all of you, and we will now be transitioning to our college discussion section. So I think, Rachel, if you want to turn off the screen share, and yeah, that would be great. And if all of you are comfortable with turning on your cameras, that would be really amazing because we do want to make it sort of like a more interactive experience with all of our panelists. And yeah, so we will be doing our college discussion under 3 guiding questions or 3 guiding themes with some pre-prepared questions, and then we'll be transitioning into some of the RSVP questions that you guys asked in the forum when you were, RSVPing for the event. So our 3 themes are going to be 1, applying to college, 2, choosing the college right for you, and then 3, transitioning to college and finding your place. So I will just get started with our first section, applying to college. One of our pre-prepared questions were, what scholarships or financial aid resources do you recommend? And so I guess like you guys could sort of just answer in order. So Nicole, Gabriela, and then June, each of you can go ahead and respond to this question.
I can start us off. I think being proactive is the most important thing. I know it can be kind of hard as a first-year student because perhaps like your family can really help you and perhaps you don't really have anyone that has done this before you, which again is very, very hard, but we're very proud of you in the first-year community to be able to do this step. Just really being confident and being proactive in what you want is the biggest piece of advice I could give you. Researching like what state scholarships that you can qualify for, what national scholarships, perhaps you're interested in specific schools. If you get accepted, what scholarships you can find there. I remember I was proactive and was able to find a minority scholarship in Michigan that funds around 25%. And then I was also able to just contact different admissions officers, and they were able to help me get other resources. So I know it can be tough kind of putting in the extra work perhaps that other students don't have to do, but it will pay off in the end. So, and then some other big ones would be like, I know a lot of people can qualify for QuestBridge. I was not able to qualify, but there's a lot of scholarships under that realm as well.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So piggybacking of what Nicole said, my experience is kind of realm more with like the Ivies. So the good thing about applying to Ivy League schools is that they will match 100% all need-based financial like need, which I was pretty lucky for. So essentially I'm not paying like that full like $60,000 that you see like when you look up like Harvard University and like that huge number. But I think a lot of students that are applying to these schools don't know that, so they don't end up like applying to like these Ivy League institutions or like these higher ed education institutions because they just think that they won't be able to afford it. So my biggest piece of advice is that to apply, even if you don't think you'll be able to afford it, because like once you're in, there's always something that you can work out with like your financial aid office in terms of like getting a better financial aid package than the one that is offered. So something that's a really big piece of advice is like to leverage other schools financial aid packages with the one that you really, really want to go to. So like, for example, let's say you really want to go to UPenn, right? You get into UPenn, the Wharton School, and then your financial aid package isn't that great. But let's say you also got into like another school of like the same caliber and like of the same expense, and they offer you a better financial aid package. You can actually send that financial aid package to UPenn and be like, look, I really, really want to go to your school. You're my dream school. But I'm offered like one that is better within my financial means. And a lot of the times they will up your financial aid a lot more than like if you simply hadn't asked. So I think that also comes into like being proactive and like going out there, asking the questions, like meeting with financial aid offices with like of the colleges that you want to go to, because most of the time they want you there. They're willing to work with you, and like there's always like this extra budget that they can like give to you that like would go nowhere if nobody asked for it. So I think that's like my biggest piece of advice is that one, apply even if you don't think you can afford it, and two, leverage like your financial status with other colleges to get like the perfect financial aid package for you, and to be willing to like to put in that work. And I know it's kind of taxing and it's kind of scary to send out these emails, but these officers, like these financial aid officers and offices, are there to help you and to give you this aid. So like you are worthy of this aid and you are worthy of this opportunity. So I think that's my biggest piece of advice. So I'll pass it on to June now.
Yeah, I really reiterate what Nicole and Gabriela said. A lot of people have been like, because seniors just got their results and stuff, been asking me like, oh, I didn't get as much financial aid as I was expecting. Like, I don't know if I can go to the school I want to go to. Genuinely like reach out to admissions and financial aid and leverage the other offers that you got against each other. Like Gabriela just mentioned, there's nothing you lose by doing it. They're not going to rescind your application and your acceptance because you asked for that. Some other things are, I'm on some grants at Michigan, and I was lucky enough to come to Michigan on a full ride, but I did qualify for QuestBridge, which I highly recommend applying for. And I didn't go through the matching process because I didn't want to go to a school that I didn't feel passionately about if I were to match in that program. So you have to kind of weigh things out, and I took a risk by not doing that, but I'm glad things worked out at the end. Also, work study can be a scam. If they offer it to you at university, you might make more money working like an off-campus job with less hours. So you definitely have to look into all the specifics that are offered in your financial aid package and whatnot. And fee waivers are available if you ask from your guidance counselor for sending scores over or applying to colleges. And there's always another option, and there's always these like fine lines, like fine text that you have to read to get the best deal that you can. And sometimes it is more work than others might have to do, but it will be worth it at the end of the day, just to have a little less debt when you graduate.
Yeah, thank you so much, all of you guys, for those answers. It's really nice to hear you guys speaking from your personal experiences, because I know we have so many attendees here today who are struggling with these issues and do really want to hear all the advice that you can give. So thank you guys so much. Going into our next question and our next topic, choosing the right college for you. Our question is, what are the most important factors that one should consider when applying or deciding between colleges? And again, each of you can feel free to give your answer.
I think two things really go into it. I guess everyone here, I'm assuming everyone here is business oriented, but just finding a school that really matches and aligns with your interests, I think is very important. And doing your research on the culture and like different organizations and seeing if you can see yourself there, I think is very important. Sometimes I know it can be very hard because I went through it too. Like you just want to go to a school like the best ranking, or perhaps like what other friends are doing, or just again trying to prove yourself to others. Discard that. You want to make sure whatever school that you go to, you will thrive in and you can see yourself there and see yourself in that community. And that just goes along with doing your research, going to different events that schools host, perhaps going online, seeing YouTube videos, doing your research on different programs they offer and different elective courses. And again, that can help in the college application process, just really showing your interest to these schools to get an offer. So I chose the University of Michigan just because I've always seen myself at a state school. I feel like I've always wanted that college experience with school spirit and just having different programs I can be a part of. Because I go to Michigan, even though I am in the business program, I can still take electives from top programs. So I know engineering is like number 6. We also have an amazing architecture school. We also have an amazing org study program, and I've been able to take electives from all these programs. And it's so cool being able to work with students that are so different from me and like have such different perspectives. And there's such a big international population as well. Like some of my best friends are from Qatar and Florence, and it's been the coolest experience. So I'm so grateful to have been able to go to a state school with so many students and so many opportunities. But perhaps you are more of a person that likes to go to like a smaller school, or perhaps a smaller town, and that's where you will thrive. So I think it's just really looking at yourself and being like, what would be best for me, and not really looking at different rankings.
Yeah, I guess I can speak just because we both go to Michigan. I'd say like the biggest decision for me was like, oh, Michigan gave me a full ride. Yay. Like I'm totally going to go. But also I applied to Michigan because they had a really good business school that had a great program for finance. And I wanted to go to a big school. Not necessarily state was like what mattered for me, like Nicole did, but I knew I wanted to go to a big school. I didn't want to be in like a small environment. So I think it boils down to, do you want to like stay in your comfort zone or leave your comfort zone also? Because I'm from Jersey, Nicole's from Florida, like both of us, the Midwest is not our home. And I had never set foot in Michigan before I came for orientation. So that was out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to be surrounded by different people from all over. I wanted to make friends in a totally different geographic location. And I love my decision to come to Michigan. Like I love Michigan so much. But I think it's definitely what you want, and think about what you want from your future, not just what you want right now. So I know I was able to grow by coming to Michigan in a lot of different ways, which I think was helpful. And like on a business note, I used to really want to go to Emory. That was one of my dream schools, and they have a great business program. But I realized that their business program is good for marketing and not necessarily finance. So you can't just look at the rankings as a whole. You need to look at what the schools are good for also. And like for Berkeley, for instance, the business program only applies for 2 years, like your last 2 years and not your first 2 years. So you wouldn't be getting any exposure in your freshman and sophomore years. And there's a lot of conditionals that go further than just what the rankings show, which I would also look at.
Yeah, also, in terms of like finding a college that's a good fit, and this is a resource that I personally use, but I know a lot of people here that did use it, was like the fly out programs. So essentially, like you apply to these programs, and like the college will essentially fly you out completely for free for like a weekend. Will board you, feed you for an entire weekend, and then you'll actually be able to experience life at that school. So I think that's like a more immersive way of like finding out which schools you really like let's say you have like a top 5 choice and you kind of like having a hard time deciding like, okay, which one do I like more, which is my top choice. And they kind of like in terms of like rankings and stuff, like they're similar, like they all have stuff that you like. Maybe going there and like seeing if you actually fit into like the social atmosphere and if you like the people that are there, I think really helps in like your decision. So I know a lot of people here at Harvard that did that, and they went to like a bunch of these, and then they were able to like fully decide, okay, like I've gone to these schools, I've visited them, I've seen the city, I've seen what it's like, I've seen like if it's like near a metropolis or if it's not, and whether I like that or whether I don't. And they were able to like kind of come to like an easier decision than I think I got to my decision. So I think I definitely take advantage of those, especially if like you're a junior or like and you still haven't started like the full college admission process. Like they usually start early/mid to senior year is like when these flyout programs are happening. So I would definitely like apply to them completely, because like they're fully covered, like you don't have to pay anything. And it's kind of like a free trip, and then you also get to see if like this is actually like the school that you want to go to, instead of like just having like online resources, which of course if you can't go to these flyout programs, these online resources are great, especially like going to like virtual conferences. Those really help a lot. But it doesn't like, it's not up to par to like actually going and seeing the school. So I think that's like my biggest piece, like what I recommend the most for you guys.
Yes, adding on to what Gabby said, I'm going to plug in Ross All Access Weekend is a program that I did my senior year, September, but it's also open to juniors, and it's actually a flyout program open to first-gen students and minority students as well. So I actually got flown out there for 3 days with my family, completely paid for, and it was the coolest experience ever. I know, like for someone like June that is interested in finance, you actually got to go to the Tazi Center, which is like this really amazing finance lab, like a bunch of software, and I got to like work with the teachers and like do the stock simulation. I also got to do like events with Story Lab and different consulting projects, and it was, now that I think about it, yeah, I definitely like made Michigan Ross my dream school. So for those of you that are interested and qualify, I would definitely apply to that. Applications are open and close soon.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for those resources. And yeah, as someone who is a junior right now and about to go visit colleges and like see what the environment is like and everything, I realize that that is one of the most important things, that you really, fit with the environment of the school that you eventually want to go to. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And then going into our third topic of transitioning to college and finding your place. One of the questions for you is, for a business-oriented student, what college organizations or clubs are generally available to join on campus, or like what should you sort of seek out?
I am so passionate about this. Like, I feel like when you go to the university of your choice, like make the most of it, especially your freshman year. Like I remember my freshman year was during COVID, and at first I was kind of scared to like join different things. I didn't really get to do like the whole like meet the clubs events, and it was all through Zoom. And like obviously that can be awkward, but I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna apply to anything and everything that interests me. And maybe that wasn't the best approach. I think I applied to like 12 clubs, but it was a great experience. And I was able to be a part of like 3 or 4 clubs. I got to meet so many people. So just like really putting yourself out there, although it can be scary in college, it's different from high school. Because some clubs are application based and you have to go through like an interview process. And for someone who's first gen and like perhaps has never seen your parents do like these finance and consulting jobs, I need to really know what goes into these. Obviously, interviewing can be scary, but so many universities have DEI initiatives, which is so amazing. And they take into account that perhaps you never had experience. And the one thing they're going to measure is your attitude and eagerness to learn. So really putting yourself out there, talking to as many people, doing those applications, that's how you're going to learn about all these opportunities. And I love my college involvements. I was able to be part of a finance club and a consulting club. And even though I'm not that involved right now, it was just so much professional development resources that I was just so grateful to be a part of. Also, I joined a business frat. I'm actually in the same business frat as June. Those are some of my best friends, just has made the best community on campus. I also applied for like some on-campus jobs. All this could seem like an overwhelming list. These are just all things that I was like really passionate about. And I got to meet so many amazing people because of it. So my one piece of advice is put yourself out there. No one makes you you. I feel like a lot of people, when they're interviewing for these clubs or like applying, they like think that they have to have like the best GPA or like the best SAT score, or like perhaps just know everything that they're going to ask you. Like, no, it's so much about like your attitude and like just being knowing what sets you apart and like what drives you and like your different passions. So just like making a list of like what interests you and like knowing how to put your best foot forward. College is just so exciting, and the more opportunities you can be a part of and the more resources you use is how you're going to make the most of it and make it the best experience. And if you're lost or confused or perhaps like you don't know where to start, reaching to like academic centers or like reaching out to upperclassmen. I know upperclassmen were so great in just getting to explore different career interests or like different clubs, and they were so eager to help you. I'm so excited to be a junior next year and being able to mentor incoming freshmen. So just reach out to different people, learn about different experiences, and always check your email because the school emails always provide a lot of information that can just guide you towards it. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Gabby or Jude.
Yeah, I can take it from here. So I think my biggest advice when it comes to this, it kind of stems from like Nicole's. It's kind of like just putting yourself out there, even if it's scary. Like, I remember when I was applying to Harvard College Consulting Group, I literally had no experience whatsoever with consulting at all. I honestly, I didn't even know what consulting was. So I think like I got the email from the mailing list, and I was like, I'll apply, sure. And then I had to like look up what consulting was and like YouTube it and like be like, what does a consultant do? Because I fully had no idea whatsoever. Had never been exposed to it at all. And like that application process is very similar to what Nicole was saying. So you kind of had to do like it was rounds. So you went through first round, and then you had an interview, and then you had another interview. And going into that, I'm not gonna lie, it was very scary, especially because I was YouTubing what a consulting was. But I think it actually boiled down to like what Nicole said, and it was about like your attitude to be part of the club and to like, and your aptitude to learn, I think is really what's important. And I think what you want people to take away from your interview. And I think that's what like made it so I made it through the club, even though like there were other people that I knew that actually did know what consulting was and actually didn't make it into the club. So I think that's definitely one of like the main things that I have to say is that like, one, apply even if it's scary, and two, just put your best foot forth, and honestly you'll land where you're supposed to land. And then also in terms of like reaching out to like if you're super lost and like you're trying to reach out to somebody, what I found super useful kind of was through Instagram. So like, let's say I followed you and like I saw that you were let's say a junior or a senior and you were part of this club that I wanted to be a part of. I would just send you like a quick DM and be like, hi, my name is X, I'm a sophomore at the same college. I'm interested, like, could you tell me a little bit more about the club? And like 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, like they'll just reply back to you like very, very happy that you reached out, and they'll give you like information about the club, and they'll be able to like provide you like with further resources and stuff like that I think we're kind of scared to like kind of break that ice, especially because if you don't know them. But I think social media has offered us like this really great a space that like maybe if like you're too scared to go up to them in person, or like you have no classes with them, that you can still interact with them and like hop on a quick Zoom call or hop on a FaceTime call or like meet for coffee, and you did that all through like an Instagram DM. So I think definitely take advantage of that resource, especially because like most students have like their college essentially like in their bio, like Harvard class of 24 or et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's a really, really great way, especially because like when you first get into a college, you kind of like start following people that go to your school and et cetera, et cetera. So you're already building up like this networking base. Like take advantage of it. Like DM people, like don't feel scared to reach out, because I feel like you build the best connections when you're able to like take that first step. So yeah, I think that would be my biggest advice for pre-professional clubs.
Yeah, just to end it off, totally reiterate everything that's been said so far. If you go to a college with a business school, there's probably going to be a ton of different clubs you can join that are respective to the career fields that are in business, which include like finance. I'm in like a banking club, but there's also investing clubs. There's consulting clubs that work on projects that work with small business, sustainable consulting, impact-based consulting, and like other types of consulting. I'm not a consultant, so I don't really know. There's also clubs that have to do with marketing, media. There's so many different clubs offered like at Ross, and we have an event called BBA Meet the Clubs, which Nicole was referencing, where you can see what kind of club you want to join, what experiences you'll have. A lot of them are more like lecture style, where they're like someone will teach you all this information. Some are more project based. I joined a business rep because I was looking for a community on campus, and I found that that has given me a good opportunity to meet people and learn more about different areas of business just by meeting a lot of people that are working in different fields, which I think is really, really powerful on its own. You don't have to shoot for experiences that are purely professional looking on your resume. You can do something because you like it. You can do something because you like the people who are in the club. And I think that's what really brings people together. Just to kind of answer the question in the chat at the same time as this question, I joined Net Impact, which is in a lot of different campuses. It's actually an international organization where you can have different chapters at different universities. And I'm in the Net Impact Club at University of Michigan, and that ties together business and impact. So business and sustainability and business and social impact would be two parts of it. This club was a really good experience for me because I don't think that business schools usually have a formal like impact-based learning curriculum set up or a lot of clubs that relate to it. But I joined Net Impact and they brought together a lot of speakers, a lot of events. There's a Michigan Impact Investing Symposium, for instance, where they brought a bunch of speakers to talk about work experiences we can do and whatnot. But basically, it's pretty interconnected, business and sustainability now, as it's becoming increasingly important. So there's like impact-based consulting, there's impact investing. And what I want to do later down the line is work for an organization like the World Bank, where I would be investing on behalf of a developing country to meet sustainable development goals. But like in private equity, banking, like now, like sustainable development goals, corporate social responsibility are part of like investing criteria. So they're pretty interconnected, and I only see the opportunities for the two overlapping increasing. Yeah.
Thank you all so much for all of those insightful responses. And I super appreciate you guys going more in depth, really with all of your advice. Unfortunately, we do need to move on from this section and get started with our breakout rooms to allow enough time. However, I know we didn't get to any of our RSVP questions, but I think you guys were able to encompass a lot of your sort of responses to those also in your advice. So that was super great. And I know a lot of people did have questions in the chat as well, but we will have some contact information going out later if you guys want to reach out afterwards. And also panelists, you guys can also answer some questions in your breakout rooms if you have the time as well. So we will be moving on to our 20-minute breakout sessions, which will end at around 4:50 Eastern Standard Time. So maybe around 15 minutes, but hopefully we will still have enough time, which will allow each of our panelists to delve deeper into business journeys and experiences with some more unique presentations and activities they've personally prepared for you guys. So I think, Rachel, you guys are
I can share my screen. Okay. Hi. Rachel, can I share my screen so I can, or are you going to be sharing it for me? Just about like the first generation scholarships and the grants and stuff.
Yes, I think I enabled share screen, but I can just directly screen share if that's easier.
Yeah, I think that'll be easier.
Okay. Perfect. I'll get
For some reason
the
it's
presentation up.
perfect. Let me change my views. All right, guys. So super excited for all of you guys to be here and for me to be able to talk to you guys. Truly, I wish I would have had this resource while I was in applying to college. I know it was like a very scary process, especially for me because like I didn't have, so I am first generation, but when I mean like first generation, I mean like I was really like the first one ever in my family. Like I didn't even have brothers that were applying to colleges the way that I was applying to college. So I really had like no advice or guidance. I was kind of just like doing as much research as I could. And like it was just a very like scary process because like you just truly like you don't have anybody that you can go to for advice to be like, oh, like how do I do this? Or like, is this a good essay? Or like, what are people asking for when they interview you for college? So all of these questions I kind of had like unanswered and I kind of went into it blind and it ended up working out for the best. I ended up at the school that I wanted to be at. But it doesn't always turn out that way. And honestly, I think it would have been a lot easier for me if I would have had a resource like this. So like at the end, they're gonna put essentially like contact information. Like if you guys have any questions after this that aren't answered, like please feel free to reach out. I will send you back an email immediately. If anything, like we can schedule like a follow-up Zoom call. I'm so happy to help because honestly I wish I would have had this resource. So I see you guys all like as little mini me's. So please feel free to reach out. Can you go to the next slide? So first I'm going to talk to you a little bit about just some scholarships that you guys can apply to. So like if you guys, you can go ahead and like take a screenshot of this if you guys want. I think that's the easiest way. But basically these are all a list of first generation scholarships / grants that you can apply to. And honestly, when it comes to financial aid, I see it more as like a numbers game than anything else. So you kind of want to apply to as many as you can because like you will undoubtedly be rejected to some of them. But if you just kind of have like more and more options, the better it is because like the more likelihood that you'll get one that says yes. So some of these have like essay portions and stuff, and I know that can be a little daunting, especially because like, oh my God, like there's like at least like 15 on here. Like, do all of these have essays? And it might be that like all 15 of them have essays. However, here's like a key piece of advice. So you're going to write like your first essay. And then the good thing about this is that then you can tweak that one essay to match the brief because they're all pretty similar. So it's kind of like, why do you want to go to college? Why is college so important to you? Like, why is this specific scholarship so meaningful to you, et cetera, et cetera. So you can kind of use like a base template or a base essay and tweak it. So then you're not actually writing 15 essays. It's just one essay that then you're kind of like adding words here or taking off words here to kind of make them fit the brief of every single one of these scholarships. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it because I think when I was applying to these scholarships and stuff, like a lot of the times I would see like essay, I'd be like, absolutely not, it's not getting applied to because I just didn't have the time, especially with like my senior responsibilities and then actually applying to college because these are all outside of, the college application process. And that college application process, like the actual one, has a bunch of essays and questions and et cetera, and then SAT scores if you're still taking the SAT or the ACT and studying for those, plus your actual classes. It can be a lot. So I think seeing that also the scholarship that isn't necessary is also asking for an essay, it can kind of be like, am I really gonna spend the time on this? I urge you to please spend the time on it. It'll just, especially if you do it the way that I'm saying, where it's like you have like one base essay, it'll only really take you like max an hour to apply to these after that. And I'm talking like max. Usually it'll be a lot less than that. And it'll honestly pay off in the end because then when you get into like the college that you want to, and maybe like their financial aid package isn't as great, and you can't really afford it, you'll have these scholarship funds to fall back on that give you a lot more flexibility about where you can go, which I think is extremely important. And then can you go on to the next slide? So perfect. So I think this advice is kind of just reiterating a lot of what we've said in the questions that we were talking about previous this. So number one, definitely be proactive with financial assistance. Send out those emails, fill out those scholarships, do it. I know it's a lot. I know it can be overwhelming, and it honestly pays off in the end, because like to go into debt for your undergrad, especially if like you're thinking of pursuing a graduate career, it is a lot. And which is something that you guys aren't thinking about right now precisely, but let's say that you take out a $50,000 loan. That $50,000 loan is not just the $50,000 loans that you're going to be paying back. That loan is accruing interest, and you're also going to have to pay back that interest. And like, it's just a lot of money. And if you can save yourself having to pay that money by doing a little bit of more work on the front end, I urge you to do so, because I know a lot of people that have graduated, not specifically from Harvard, but from other colleges, and now that they have like this huge bill to pay, and it's kind of like one more thing that they have to pay that goes into it, that kind of impedes other saving plans. Like if you're trying to save for retirement or save like a rainy day fund, like all of this is being eaten up by you having to pay back student loan debt. So the more that you can reduce the student loan debt, trust me, the happier you will be after you graduate college. So please, and then once you actually get into these colleges, like send out emails to your financial aid office. They are happy to chat with you. They're happy to kind of work out something that works for you, so you can attend this college. Because if they gave you a yes, it means that they want you there, and they're going to do everything possible to keep you there so that their retention rates are high. Also, number two, get involved and say yes to new experiences. I'm a big proponent of this. Even if my freshman year was also a COVID freshman, which kind of sucked, but you guys, hopefully, I'm saying, it will not experience this at all, or like it'll be very reduced compared to what I experienced, which I think will facilitate this a lot. But do go to new experiences. Also, like your freshman year, take classes outside of like what you had originally planned to go into like school studying. I think this does two things. One, it kind of reinforces that you actually do want to be studying what you're studying, because like you've taken these other classes and they don't interest you as much, and you really want to continue studying what you had thought you were. And two, it kind of like opens your mind to like the possibilities of college and like of what you can learn at college that may not necessarily fall under like your skill set, but just make you a better and like global citizen and more open-minded person. So yes, also apply to a bunch of clubs. Like Nicole, like she applied to 12. I think I applied to like 9 or 10, like up there. I recommend you doing that, because at the end of the day, like you probably will not be involved in all 9 or 10 that you applied to, but it gives you more options. And in the end, like you'll be able to narrow them down by your sophomore year to like the 3 or 4, or maybe 1 or 2, if that's what you want to handle, of course, that you want to in your sophomore year. But because you had your freshman year like just a foot in all of these different buckets, is how I try to think of it, you're kind of like, you have more information about like what you do like and what you don't like, which clubs you do like and which ones you don't. But like, let's say you only apply to 2 your freshman year, that means that you only have information about those 2, and then your sophomore year, you're either starting from scratch, or you're kind of stuck with maybe clubs that you aren't super passionate about anymore. So I think that's definitely one thing that I will say. Establish a network of mentors. This is super key. And I think this is something that I wish I would have done earlier. So like I said, like reach out to upperclassmen. Upperclassmen have gone through it. They've been where you are, and they've survived, and they've made it as far as they have. And they're more than happy to share their experiences with you, like we're doing right now. So please like reach out to them. If you join a club and like there's somebody above you is like an upperclassman, like talk to them, like reach out to them, be like, hey, here's my phone number, would love to catch coffee someday. And a lot of times they'll say yes because they want to help you. They understand what it's like to be in your position and how scary it can be, and like moving, and a lot of the times you're moving to a new state, to a new city where you know nobody. So I essentially moved from Miami, Florida, where it's warm and really nice all time or all year round, to Cambridge, Massachusetts, where it's cold 9 months out of 12. I knew nobody. I had never stepped foot into the city beforehand. So my family was really far away. All of my friends were really far away. And all of that is really scary because you're just like, whoa, what do I do now? Like, who do I hang out with? What do I do in my free time? Like, I have no parental overview. Like, what do I do? And that can all be really scary. And I think like if you have a mentor that can kind of just guide you through it and help you form these bonds, it makes it the experience just 10 times easier. So please do that. And then surround yourself with motivating and individuals in the supportive community. I think this is also key because I'm a strong believer that you're kind of a reflection of the people that you surround yourself with. So your habits become more like the people that you hang around yourself with. So if you are kind of surrounded by people that are really motivated to like make the most out of their college experience, you will also be really motivated to get the most out of your college experience and to be happy and to pursue these goals. Also, don't be afraid to seek academic assistance early on. This is key. This is also key. If you're struggling in a class, there's no shame in struggling. Like some college classes will be incredibly difficult, and there's no shame in saying that, holy crap, like this is hard. Like I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm in a new city. I'm now taking care of myself. Like I'm now responsible for my 3 meals a day. And on top of that, I'm going to my classes and I'm self-scheduling. It can all be a lot. So reach out to these tutors. A lot of so for Harvard specifically, there's a tutoring program where you kind of just go in, you sign up, and then you get assigned a tutor, and they're just there to meet with you whenever you need. Usually it's about like once a week for like an hour or two. And you just meet with them, and then they help you with your course load and they answer questions. I would also take advantage of office hours. So you guys don't know what this is yet, but basically it's like a lot of classes will hold hours outside of their of actual class time where you can just go and either talk to a professor or talk to a teaching assistant or a teaching fellow and get your questions answered. If you guys have problem sets or stuff like that, or if you guys have any questions, like go to these are that's the point of these, and they're almost like they're always happy to help you and to like provide you further guidance on questions that you have. Honestly, I've most of my statistics classes and my calculus classes, like I've survived because I've religiously attended office hours weekly where they help me with all my questions. Because like for me, honestly, I come out of class time with like a lot of questions that like I might not feel comfortable exactly like expressing in like a lecture hall with like 200 students, right? But these office hours are more one-on-one where you can get like all of these questions and clarifications. So please use this. Next, understand how your first gen background has impacted you. And oh no, my breakout room is ending. Okay. I think these last 2 points are super important. As a first gen, you kind of have a different experience than a lot of people do going to college, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's taught you about the importance of initiative and about the importance of like putting yourself first. So please keep that in mind. It's not a disadvantage at all to be first gen. I think you have a very different perspective about like just how grateful you are to be there. And I think like being grateful for the experiences that are being open to you is key and will get you guys really, really far. So yeah, I'm so sorry I didn't get to answer any of your questions. I kind of was like ranting. But again, feel free to email me any of the questions that I didn't get to answer. And I'm super proud of you guys for taking this initiative.
Okay, hold on, let me make sure everything's set. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys were able to have a really great breakout session with our panelists. And as everyone's back, before we start our little final advice session, we wanted to take a quick Zoom group picture with everyone. So if you're comfortable with turning on your camera, that would be really great. We will be putting this on our Instagram for a recap post, as well as our LinkedIn. And I think we'll also have a recap article going out. So it would be really nice if you're able to turn on your camera for like a little group picture to remember our start of April event. And yeah, Rachel, I think whenever you're ready, you can take 3 pictures. So I'll just count to three times. And yeah, everyone can, you know, pose, do a little smile. Yeah, okay. Rachel, let me know when I can count down.
Okay, I'm all set.
Okay, everyone. 3, 2, 1. And I'll do one more. 3, 2, 1. And I think we usually do one with like a little heart or something, just like something that's kind of fun. Rachel, do you want to do a heart this time, or do you want to do a different thing?
Let's do a heart. We can do a heart.
Okay, we can do like a little hand heart if you want to do it like that or like that. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, so I'll just count down again. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Perfect. Got it.
Alrighty. Okay, thank you so much. Also feel free to keep your cameras on if you want. It's really nice to be able to see faces. But yeah, so now we'll be getting into our last words of advice from our speakers. So to all 3 of our panelists, you've provided such like valued guidance and advice to our entire audience. And before we ended, we wanted to just ask like a final word of advice to our attendees from each of you.
I can start. I think that this panel has done a good job focusing on like being first gen and business, but to be a girl in business is something else that I wanted to talk about to end on. And it is a little harder than it is to be a man in business, like for sure. It's not the most friendly workspace there is for women, but I think that times are changing and we're becoming more diverse as an industry as a whole. But I wanted to say that you don't have to push away your femininity in any sense to feel like you made it in the business world. You don't have to be more like a guy or dress more like a guy or talk like a guy, and you can still keep like everything you love about being a woman very near and dear to you while you're entering a career in business. Because I'm working in finance, I thought, oh, I should definitely wear like a suit with pants instead of wearing a dress, and I should, you know, like put my hair up or not like curl it and stuff, but that's totally unnecessary. I think it's really, really awesome to see women in business who really thrive in their skin and they're not afraid to have things that are pink or more girly or anything like that. And that's just what I wanted to leave off with.
I can go next. So I think my final word of advice, I think what June said, completely true. I think being a woman in this space poses challenges that I don't think men will ever have to face, simply because of our gender, and it isn't exactly fair, but it is the reality that we live in. So I think what June said to really like understand the power of your femininity is really important. I also think that in terms of advice, just like more general, I really think taking initiative, I think, is the best advice that I can offer. Like, please go to these conferences, please apply to these scholarships, please apply to these schools, even if they're reaches, even if it's like, if you never thought I never thought I could be at Harvard. I'm gonna be honest, like when I was applying, I was like, I will be rejected. Like there's no way, right? And now I'm here and I'm doing something that I never thought I could. So like, just even if you don't think you're fully qualified for a position, or for a school, apply, because you never know what can happen. And like the people who are reviewing your application can see something in you that you don't even see in yourself. So please, I think that's like my biggest piece of advice, like apply, take that initiative, do it if you think, even if you think that you can't, because I didn't think I could be here and now I am. So, and I'm no more special than any of you guys. So please, please, please apply.
Yeah, and I just want to, I know a lot of you guys here can be, I'm guessing most of you are in high school. I remember being so overwhelmed with the college process and putting so much pressure for myself. And I just really let my mental health get the, like, I wasn't taking care of my mental health. I was going through a bunch of anxiety. Like college applications can bring all this stress on you. But please, like, instead of just nitpicking everything that you should be, or like nitpicking like perhaps like your weaknesses, like focus on your strengths. Realize that you like are so special. And it took me getting to college to realize like everything that I bring to the table. Like please just like know that you are capable, and like perhaps like right now you're putting so much pressure on yourself to get to like a specific school, like you want to be perfect, or you want to do this, or you should have done that, or you're comparing yourself to other people. Like you will bring the energy that you attract. So just like putting a positive energy, putting your best foot forward to every situation, having a smile on your face. Rejection is just redirection, and that's so annoying. Like I get it. Like I can roll my eyes just like saying that out loud, because it's easier said than done. But like trust me, if one opportunity doesn't work out, like the next opportunity will like bring you so much joy and amazing experiences. So just like really having your arms wide open for that. So during the college process, put yourself out there, focus on your strengths, really just have a positive attitude for it. And then you're just going to bring the best experiences to you. Like I had struggled a lot again in high school with mental health because I never believed in myself. And in college, I just completely shifted my mindset and have never been happier. Such a beautiful thing to think that like some of the best days of our life haven't even happened yet. And I'm just so excited for everything that college and being in the business world is going to bring you guys. And I can't just wait for like the amazing business leaders you guys are going to be. And again, going with June and Gabby said, like, we're going to be such powerful women in business. It just completely changes spaces that were once not meant for us. So I'm so excited to see everything that we will bring.
Thank you so much, all of you. I love the energy that you guys have brought today. And I feel like it's super empowering to have you guys, pursuing business in college to speak to us. We're so like anxious about, all these applications and everything. And it's just so nice to hear from you guys. So thank you so much again. And I think going to the next slide, we'll have all of our panelists' contact information. I know we had a lot of questions we couldn't get to today. So feel free to reach out to our panelists with any other inquiries that you have. You can reach out to them via email or also LinkedIn, and we will also tag you guys on Instagram if we're able to find. I think Rachel, you have access to like information with like handles and stuff. But yeah, we will also have our recap post going on Instagram at Girls for Business. But yeah, feel free to take a picture of this slide. And then finally wrapping up with a little Girls for Business plug. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials to stay updated with GFB content. We have a lot of cool stuff planned for our social media accounts. We have like TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and stuff going on. So please be sure to follow us to stay updated for more opportunities, more events like this. And for stuff on latest business news and helpful business tips, you can check out, oh, I already said that. You can look at our Instagram and everything, but we'll also have our event recap that will be posted on all these platforms. And if you want to be tagged in that Instagram post as well, you can feel free to leave your Instagram handle in the chat right now, because we do like to tag you guys, just, involve everyone in the experience. So yeah, if you want to take a picture or put that in the chat, I'll give you guys like 5 seconds. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And then we would also love to hear any feedback you guys have for these events. We are trying to constantly improve and cater things to what you guys want to hear. So I will be sending this event feedback form to the chat. So if you would like, you can fill out that form. It's just sort of like what you thought, if you came out satisfied, if there's anything you would like to see in a future event that we do. We just want to sort of tailor to your interests more and make sure we're providing helpful experiences to our audiences. And then finally, if you want to get involved with the Girls for Business community, here are some of the ways you can. So I'm going to try to zip through these pretty quickly. You can feel free to take a picture of the slide here to access any of the links through the QR code. So you can start a Girls for Business chapter. We do have chapters at the state level and also high schools. And also for international applicants, you can create regional or county chapters, and applications are open right now. So there's also application links listed on the screen as well as in that QR code. You can also apply to become a mentee in our mentorship program. You can receive one-on-one mentorship from a business college student or business professional over the course of 10 weeks with mentors like Nicole. And mentee applications for the mentorship program are open year-round. And the application link is also listed on the screen as well. And you can also subscribe to our mailing list. So Girls for Business subscribers receive bi-weekly newsletters featuring the latest news in business, career tips, business opportunities, things that just our writing team compiles. They're really great. And we have a lot of articles that come out. And you can scan the QR code to join our mailing list as well. And you can join our team. So if you want to work with us as an ambassador or on one of the teams, I would recommend you apply for the outreach team, which is my team, best team in my opinion. We are currently accepting applications for select team roles and would love to work with you guys in the future. So application links are also listed on the screen. And then last thing, you can join our community Slack. So the Slack platform, we use that to network with girls with similar interests and provide professional and personal guidance from accomplished businesswomen with girls all over the world. So that invitation link is also in the bottom left-hand corner. And I know that was a lot of information. You can also just feel free to look at our Instagram bio. We have like all of these links everywhere. So that brings us to the end of our event. We want to thank our panelists for coming out today again and sharing your business experiences with us all. And we learned so much from you. So thank you so much, Nicole, Gabriela, and June, for taking the time out of your day to speak today. And additionally, a huge thank you to all of our participants for taking the time to attend our event. So if anyone has additional questions or suggestions for us, feel free to stay behind. Rachel and I will be staying on and we'd love to chat with you. But for everyone else, I hope you had an amazing time. Panelists, have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see all of you at future events. And yeah, thank you guys so much. We really enjoyed this.